Welcome to the Navigating Sisterhood podcast, where we unpack all things friendship. I'm Alyson.
And I'm Mia.
We know adulting can make it hard to stay connected, so we're here to help you navigate the sometimes challenging but always rewarding world of friendships. So share this with a friend and let's dive in.
So let's really dive in with some small talk, friend. Hey girl, how you been?
Hey, girl. Doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing good. Got my little ponytail going.
Oh, ponytail.
So yes, also in these streets, I am on the apps, honey. I'm on the apps, and I have this funniest thing that happened. That I want to tell you about. So, you know how they reach out to you, and he was like, "I'm gonna cut through all the small talk." I was like,
Okay,
"I love
like that.
okay." He's like, "Here's who I am." I'm like, "Bet, I love when men do this." You know what? I've done this before. So we go copy, put it in there, paste, and send it on off. And I was like, "Oh, it says, 'Hey, Craig,' in there, and this gentleman's name is D. It's not Craig." So
Wait,
my copy and paste.
you sent it? Mia.
And the app is so unforgiving. You know, we live in
You can't edit it. Mia.
So I was like, "Oh, oh, just multitasking." So sorry. That man was so offended. I was like, I don't know how to fix it. You can't fix it. Why you gotta be so offended? You know, we all out here. It's like, no, ma'am, you wrong. You wrong. It's
They be so upset when we play the game. Like, this is what it happens. Like, we're on the apps. You're not just talking to me on the app.
hello. I mean,
Don't be offended. Like, it's awkward, but don't be offended.
right. No, he's all
Okay, wait, though. But I would be offended, though. Wait, hold on. I'd be offended because, sir, my name is right there.
was like, he was like, "I wish Craig all the best." I was like, you know what? I was like, no. It's not like that. You know, it's like
What? Another one bites the dust.
I went back in the app, he's gone. I was like, oh, he done unmatched. I was like,
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
yes.
That is hilarious. We're not made for this.
I know. I can't
We're not
juggle.
built for this. Okay.
Want to
We're
have
supposed to be somebody's wife. Like this, all this stuff, we don't know how to date.
I was like, these rosters, these multiple, like just the managing of it all. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, girl, speaking of roster girls, so you know how like I've been trying to do better about not attaching so quickly with, the guys I'm dating. So I'm trying to do the whole multi-dating thing, right? Of course, in the early stages. And so this past week, I had my monthly therapy session, and I told her casually, like I'm saying, I was thinking like, hey, this is progress. Like I'm updating you with a highlight. And I said, yeah, so I'm building a roster, or actually I was telling her like, so I was building a roster, but actually I just realized very quickly that multi-dating isn't for me. When I say a roster, she was like, and she went her note. She said, "What in our last session did I say that encouraged you to build a roster?" She was so like, she's like, I could tell she was trying to be like professional and like very gentle, but her energy was like, man, what are you doing?" Like, if your goal is to be a wife, you're a believer. I don't understand what's going on. And I was like, no. I'm just saying, like, in early stages, we gotta talk to multiple people.
That's all
I
that
think
is.
she was thinking like, no, I'm building a rotation. Like,
Yeah, let me be clear on that, just in case other people get some confusion on that. We just talking about multiple dates.
yeah,
That's it. Multiple
yeah.
conversations together,
Cause you know,
multiple men versus
right,
like, oh, I like this one, and now I'm daydreaming of our future. So to protect everyone, we're just gonna have multiple until one says, it's you, boo, and
right.
I feel the same, and then we move on. That's all
Yeah.
it means.
Yes. Man, girl, I alarmed her. All the alarms went off. She was like, whoa, 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 what's happening? What's happening? I was like, no, I mean, I'm just so because we ultimately realized it was just a semantic thing. Like,
Yes.
yeah, but sis was like, what did I say? Like, well, I'm steering you in the wrong direction.
He's like, I have encouraged her to be out here in Soho Oats, and that's not what I was
Either way, roster or no roster, multi-dating or not, I don't like it. I just want to be one person. I want to talk to one person, get to know one person, and just live happily ever after. Like, I don't understand why this is so difficult. But that doggone Craig story, girl,
saying.
that's hilarious. That is
What's sad is me and Craig ain't even matched no more. I even did. Goddamn.
that was a long time ago. That was the last batch.
Listen, I have batches and cycles now. He was on the last cycle. I was like, oh man.
Let's go in there, girl. Go edit the note. Did you edit the note to take out the name?
I need to put it in notes. My problem
Oh,
was it was
um,
an old message copied and pasted. I must scanned it real good. Didn't look at the top. See the top was
that man said, "Wish Craig all the best."
much, and I don't want to see you in my inbox no more. I'm like, they still move past. He's like,
Oh man, that is hilarious. Um, so before we get to all the like juicy stuff about friendship in general, we wanted to introduce this podcast with sharing our friendship story and giving out a little piece of our world. So Mia, like, tell the people, how did we meet?
what's funny is our story starts in Salt Lake City, Utah, which was not a part of either one of our original plans, I don't believe. But I went out there after work and to work, excuse me, and was there about 11 years. And towards the end, Miss Alyson, this beautiful brown girl, comes into the church. Okay, yes. Um, and so we met basically at church, and we connected at church, and we connected over music basically. So yeah, no, that's where our story began. And it's so funny because both of us grew up in the South. And so for me, it's like seeing someone that I could relate to. Now, funny enough, in the church, a lot of people were from the South. But they had been there so long, and they were all kind of, in Utah, there's like this oneness of it all, where I was just like connecting with someone that's like a real homegirl, or like that really understands, or that hasn't been here so long and has changed already, whatever. So anyway, that's how we met. We met, and then we ended up on the same praise team
Yes.
at the church. Um,
So that's like, so okay, so yes, we're both from the South. I'm from Alabama. Mia, you're from Florida.
mhm.
And similar to Mia, after college, I went to Salt Lake City to work. I got there like around 2013 and um ended up going to this church simply because the name of the church was the same name as my father's church, and it was a black pastor. And if you know anything about Utah, you know it's less than 2% black. So I was looking for all the black things, all the black folks, all the black food, all the black music, like anything black, I wanted to find it. And like I had no other rhyme or reason to visit this church. And when I get there, Mia's there, and we ended up on the same praise team. Here's the thing, though. After a while of being there and joining, I began to serve, and I ended up being I ended up helping to lead the praise and worship team there. What I didn't realize at the time was Mia was the former leader of the praise team, but she stepped down for a while, but stayed on the team. She just stopped leading the team, but she stayed on the team. How was that for you, Mia, to like stay on the team, a team that you had led?
It was great. Listen, so because for me it was my decision, right? And so
You didn't get set down.
I didn't sat down. I guess I didn't make that clear. It was my decision. So I didn't want the pressure. I didn't want the pressure. And so as a team member, even though I'm never this way, I could just show up when I need to. I don't have to choose songs. I don't have to be, praying and fasting about what, the Lord is saying and aligning with the message and all that. Let's show up. What do you need us to sing? And then we sing it. So for me, it was exactly what I needed during that time. Plus, I think for me, I knew that I still wanted to sing. I knew that I still wanted to worship, and I knew I still wanted to serve and give. And so, and because you were a wonderful leader,
Thank
it
you.
weird, right? Like, because that could have been weird, but you never made it, a way or a thing. And so I think for me, it was it was a really easy transition for me, and it was a good time. It was a good time for me.
Thinking, reflecting on our friendship, it actually was um my introduction. Like it was the first time I got to see your character on display
Mm.
because you were a former leader. There was so much opportunity if you didn't have the solid character that you have. There was so much opportunity for you to sow discord, to still be trying to possibly undermine my leadership. Say we doing it this way because I was the new girl, like new. They were so familiar with you. They were so used to your decision making, your style of leadership, all the things. They were used to your voice. And I remember in rehearsals, like there was never a time where you would like push back or you was just super solid and just super cool. And I didn't realize it in the moment how big of a deal that was. But it just speaks to just how solid you are in regards to your integrity and your standards and the way you live your life, which makes you just a really solid friend, girl. Just a solid friend. So yeah, we started the same church. But here's the thing though. So I got there around 2013. I would say what our friendship probably started developing maybe like late that year or early 2014. I'm not exactly sure, but
Mhm.
you end up moving in 2014.
Was it 2014?
Yes.
15? I always get it confused. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't wrong at all. Cause I'm like, again, I'm the new girl. Nothing is like this land is so foreign to me. Everything about Utah was so foreign to me. And I had no family, no friends, and was desperately seeking community. And I was finally starting to build a friendship. And I'm like, dang, sis about to leave.
Sis left, honey. Sis needed to go. Sis did her time.
Did your time.
And then years. So yeah, I came to Atlanta from Utah. And what was interesting is because our friendship was so new, even in the phase of our friendship was new. Um, I didn't really think anything of like we have to keep in contact or anything like it was nothing intentional about it. But it was still very, very much organic. Or like, oh hey girl, you live in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. And I'm like, yes, I live in Atlanta. Like come anytime. And is that when we started like our tradition of New Year's? I think
Yes.
we spent most New Year's together since
Yes.
then.
Yes. For
Okay.
like about a decade now, we've been doing New Year's together.
That's
Yeah.
wild. So yeah,
So I I'm curious to know like some pivotal moments in our friendship where you knew like, okay, like, oh, we friends. But I remember again, because those were early stages. And while I was in search for community and I was in search for friendship, I still had all of the um I still had a mentality of women not being like uh safe people. Like I was raised in an environment where friendship was not something that was. I didn't see my parents have a lot of friendships. I have a big family, so it's like your friends are your family, you know. And then on top of that, it was like, oh, women aren't to be trusted, you know, that can be XYZ, all the toxic stuff, right? So while I desire friendship, I was still like a little leery, like we can keep it surface, you know, like let's just hang out, let's just kick it, but nothing to the point where you can hurt me. I won't allow you to hurt me. So like, let's just keep it cute. Thank God for deliverance. Amen.
Amen.
But I remember when you were moving, you asked a few of your friends to come help you move, which I'm happy to help, right? And there was one point, I forget what the conversation was, but you said something like, oh yeah, like of course I want you to help me move, but like no, I want to see you, like I want to spend time with you before you know I leave. I'm like, oh, you want to spend time with me? Oh, okay, cool. She likes me. But I remember that being like such a cool moment. Like, oh, I hadn't known that we were there yet. You know what I mean? So that was a really, really special moment for me. What's a moment in the early stages where you knew, like, oh yeah, she cool. Like, I can kick it with her.
Well, I think, well, a couple things. One is, as you mentioned, my character, during that time of being on the team, I also saw your character, right? Because I was a part of a team before where there was a previous leader and she was divisive, and opposite where they would just make it awkward or say certain things or call out or try to diminish, or and none of that. You were like, hey, can you lead this song? Or like, hey, what are your thoughts about this? And so it made me see also that you were a person of integrity, that you were a person that is not here to, I don't know, show your rule and reign, but more so, and like, I'm the new leader. It was not even about that for you either. And so there was a mutual, I think, then respect that I started, that we had, but then I also started to just gain um, perspective of who you were as a person, and a person that is trustworthy, you know? And so I was like, oh, she cool. Oh, she real cool. She cool P. Yeah. And then I think, I don't know if it was just like our love for music or just conversations over time where we just started connecting a little bit more and more and more. And then you came to the house, Lord, the house. You came to the house and hung out with me. And I think for me it was just those times where it's like we were building something that I didn't even know what was, to become of it. I was just going again organically with it. Like, she cool, she real cool peeps. And I just enjoyed being around you and having conversations and um complaining, complaining, wishing, hoping, praying for God to release, so just having someone that was like in a similar space made that space so much more comforting, right? For me to even endure, even though I wasn't there much longer, I didn't know I wasn't going to be there much longer. So those last years for me were pretty tumultuous, and they were, life changing for me. Just to even leave, and because I have this blind loyalty situation that I used to have.
Hello.
And so for me to unattach and to leave, it was a big decision for me. So you being there during that time of being, while I'm considering one of those life changing pivots for my life, was really, really big. So yeah, just having you there to kind of talk through, and you becoming more of a confidant during that time, and I desperately needed it.
Man. And it was the same for me. Like we both, I don't even think we knew it again, like you said, but we were both meeting like uh, a real need that we both had. Um, Cause yeah, Utah was tough, man. That talk about that straight up wilderness experience really for me. Jesus Christ. Thank God we out. We back in the South. Amen.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Oh man, I'm thinking about like what were some like do you have any memories of like awkward moments when we first became friends or like funny moments when we first became friends? I feel like when people are forming friendships, it could be a little bit bumpy because you're learning somebody brand new. You don't know what their quirks are or anything about their history for real, and we can be so casual about just how we talk about stuff. And I know that I am notorious for putting my foot in my mouth. But can you think of like any awkward moments in our friendship in the beginning?
I don't. I don't
Girl, I got one.
know it.
I was in West Valley, so I don't know if you'd already moved and were visiting. You had came back. No. We were both living there for whatever reason. You know what? I think it was around the time you were about to leave. I don't know. It was my birthday. You came over and for whatever reason you came over and you gave me a birthday gift
Okay.
and you positioned it on my coffee table. But you didn't present it to me. You positioned it on my coffee table, like she'll see it she'll see it later, right? It was like a spa gift card and a written card, birthday card. For whatever reason, I saw it. I just didn't know it was for me. Because again, we're new in friendship. I don't expect gifts. Gifts is very low on my love languages. So it's nothing I'm ever just like thinking about, It's nothing that I would ever expect from a new friend. Heck, I don't expect it from old friends. Like just, so I saw it. I just thought it was, something that she had. So we're talking for whatever reason, we happened to start talking about like gifts and cards because it was around my birthday. So I guess that makes sense. We're talking about gifts and cards. And I'm just going on and on about like how like, yeah, I don't really like cards because like, I mean, it's not thoughtful. And, like, it's just like you buy somebody else's words, you give somebody a card and yada, yada, I'm just going on and on about how I do not like cards. When I get them, I tend to throw them away unless there's, something written in it. It's very thoughtful, but like, I don't like cards like that. Right. And she's just listening to me all intently, whatever, talking about this. And like after that, I realized that what's on the table is a gift for me and it's a card. I'm like, oh my God. I felt so bad.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I don't even remember that. Like for me, and I think we both were kind of like this, but there's like, I was very guarded. And so what I was providing was, surface stuff for me. You know, I love birthdays though, so I'm gonna celebrate a birthday just to celebrate a birthday. But yeah, so for me, I think especially at the beginning of our relationship. So saying that means I didn't really take too much like stock in
Mhm.
things, because I was just like, she's on the outer. So it's like,
Mhm.
um, and so for me, it was just more so what things are happening to bring you more inward than it is to push you out because you are
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
out for me. So yeah, I don't remember anything standing out.
Oh, when did I move? When was I promoted?
Promoted. Lord have mercy. Oh,
Well, I think it could be. I can answer the same. I can answer two though. Like, but when did you realize? Like, oh no, this isn't like just like an acquaintance. This is a real friend that I can bring a little bit closer, into my life. What was a moment for you when you realized?
I think for me, I remember I had a surgery and um and I went I can't remember if we were both in Utah. We were both in Utah and both going to Atlanta, but we both knew it. And the short story is I had a wheelchair. had to sit
I
in a
forgot. I forgot about this.
I had to sit in a wheelchair. I'm big bad Mia. So I'm like wheelchair. But like he was like trying to make it cool kind of thing. And so like he's like, yeah, girls, it's no problem. I didn't know, typically they would have anyway, the whole point is you were there during that time.
Forgot
And that
about
was
that. The
special to me.
wheelchair.
That was special to me because I think, just anytime you deal with anything with your health, you just become really, really vulnerable and really understanding who's there when you really need them, and who would be there and who would not. And I remember you even visiting me. I was another friend had created like a rotation for people to
Uh-huh. A
take
meal train.
a meal train. You was on the meal train, but you came and you sat with me also. So you didn't just, drop food off. You sat with me. You were there for me. So for me, that was the first promotion. That sounds so crazy. But that was the first time I definitely saw you differently. Um, to be like, oh, okay, so she's one of those that wants to be there, right? Because you didn't have to. And then will be there. And so those two things alone for me are huge. And I think that was kind of like that first look into, oh, she's a little bit more than the outer.
Hmm. And what's crazy about that trip, like, because like you said, like we just both happened to be going to Atlanta because anytime I would visit home, so I'm from Alabama, I'm from South Alabama, and there are no major airports in my hometown. So it is most efficient to just fly to Atlanta and drive home. So what I would do is I would fly to Atlanta, spend some time in Atlanta, then go home, spend some time at home, all that kind of thing. And this particular weekend was when I think you were like going to Atlanta to like search for houses and before you make your final move. We just so happened to be on the same flight that day. Like it wasn't even a like planned thing. We just so happened. So we like in the like moving seats and stuff. When you came to the back to sit with me, and we talked the entire flight, the entire 3.5 4 hour flight, which is a recurring thing because we can talk. Like y'all, we be on the phone like we ain't talked in months. It could be all of 2 days. And we be on the phone like, oh, I got another update. And before you know it, it's been 3 hours. Like it could be a weekend where I'm going to Atlanta to visit Mia. Like maybe I'm gonna go to Atlanta on Friday and I'm gonna be there the whole weekend with Mia. But that Thursday, I just have something burning to get off my chest and we only be on the phone for 4 hours. Why would I go see you tomorrow?
Funny thing is when one of us like give in to that inkling, I was like, oh my God, I was gonna call you, but I was trying to wait. But since we're here, blah, 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 blah. It's so funny. We ain't stopped since.
Literally, I have not stopped talking since. It's so ridiculous how we have to force each other off the phone. We'd be like, okay, we're not doing this today. We're not gonna be on this phone too long. We got to set them boundaries. We got other stuff to do. Other stuff to do. Notes for our conversations because it'd be so much.
We'd be like, okay, here's the list. And then we talk for 3 hours. I'm like, oh, we haven't gotten to the list yet. Like, wait, so we still got 3 more hours of conversation. Yes.
You know what? One thing I love too though about that though, like one thing I learned very early on. Of course, like we all love a good, you know what I'm saying, a good chatty patty, spilling tea, kiki, the fun gossip. Maybe it's about a reality show or what's going on in the shade room. Of course, that's cool. One thing I have absolutely loved about our friendship is we do not be sitting around gossiping about folks all the time. Like it is not something we have ever participated in on a regular basis. Like what somebody else got going on, what they doing, what they ain't doing. Like that is not a common thing in our friendship. And when I tell you, girl, that's something I appreciate so much.
Yeah.
Because when I get around, there have been moments where I've had the privilege of being around other friend groups. Like maybe I'm the new girl, and I'm just in their friend group and having a good time. I've noticed though a lot of times we be talking about other folks. I'm just like, this isn't fun. My friend at because I
Right.
talk about stuff like this.
Yeah. No, that is not my MO. Listen, when you really trying to live your best life, you get real full of all the things you need to be doing to get to that best.
Real talk.
So yeah, no.
Real talk. Of course, we both have amazing friendships, right? And because of where we met in life, like we also already had best friends.
Mhm.
Yet here we are establishing like this new best friendship.
Mhm.
When did you know I was your best friend?
Oh gosh. That was more recent. When I say recent, probably within the last 5 years. That I was like, oh, we're besties.
Yeah.
We're besties. I don't know if it was a defining moment, but I do know because you've skipped some phases, but
Okay. Well, we can rewind. We can rewind. We can rewind.
it's like, oh, best friend, okay.
We can rewind. What's the next phase?
Yeah, there's no name for it,
Well,
but
yes.
it's like outer, then inner, and then inner. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but
This is true.
yeah, because I feel like the next phase for for me was when you moved to Tennessee.
That's right. I did skip a lot, huh? I forgot about. I did.
That was like the next phase.
Yeah. 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 Because I was trying to get out of Utah from the moment I got there, honestly, because I was only supposed to be there for 3 months, and it turned into 5.5 years. And I transferred my job and went to Nashville at the end of 2018. Yep. I
Mhm.
was like, to be well, you know what? You I skipped a lot actually. Let me say this before we even get there. Um, I was sad when Mia left Utah because I'm like, dang, like I need local friends and she gone. But it was actually Atlanta actually is where we really developed a friendship because anytime I would go home again, because I would go through Atlanta, anytime I would go home throughout the year, I would stop through Atlanta, spend time with you on the weekends, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we became even closer with the
Yeah.
distance.
The distance made us close.
Yes,
That
it
was
did.
yes.
It did.
It really did. I do feel like that was like the next phase. It's like, oh, we friends.
Yeah.
So
That's what took our first trip,
where did we go?
Myrtle Beach, to see Raheem Devine.
Oh, still record books, man. Lettucey was there.
Yeah, Leela James.
Oof. I love that concert. It was cold
It was cool.
though. But yes, that's when I got into the concert life because of you.
Yeah, I love a good concert now.
Been to like a for real concert before
I
then.
love
So,
that.
yeah.
That's a good point though, because I feel like friendship in general does this, but this specific friendship has taught me so much about myself and has like introduced me to so many new things. Like I didn't know I liked certain things until you came along. Like I
Mhm.
didn't eat Thai food until you introduced me to Thai food in Salt Lake City, and now it's literally one well Asian food. Period. Asian cuisines. Period. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, I love that I could introduce you to the concert life, and now you be going, girl.
Yes. Now it's a concert thing. Like
Yes,
yeah, in the streets.
that's
Yeah, I
real.
really feel like that was the next phase. And then when you went to Tennessee, I think that's when the next like level happened. I don't like to say promotion, but I think the next level happened. Because then I came to visit you in Tennessee multiple times.
Mhm.
And you were making a home and you were in transition. And then there was everybody went into transition with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, and then I remember a time where and this is why I love having friendships that are where God is involved, right? Because I felt you and I still be feeling you. Like I know when something, like even if you don't say, like I can feel you. And I'm like, something. And I remember checking in on you. And I remember us having a conversation on like what does support look like and like, and for you is presence, like physical presence. And I'm like, Tennessee ain't nothing. And I just
Yeah.
remember like making it happen and making myself available and going to see you and spend time with you to make sure you was good.
That was really, really special for me because okay, so we're gonna try to get through this episode without crying, girl. Okay, so
There's that.
that was special for me because I remember when the pandemic first happened, I thought I was cool, like, oh, this is fine. I'm back then I think I was still calling myself an introvert. I'm actually more of an ambivert. But back then I was like, oh, a long time, I'm not going anywhere. I'm totally fine. I'm fine with working from home. But it started to weigh on me. The isolation was starting to weigh on me heavy. And I remember there was a moment you asked me like, is it important for you to have friends visit you, like come to you to visit? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it is. I don't know that I've ever known to communicate it that way, but yes, thank you for asking. That's very important to me. And I'm thinking it's just a general conversation, like, all right, I'll keep, I'll tuck that mental note, keep it in mind. It was like the next weekend you were in Tennessee. It was like immediate action. And I was like, wow, that's how that works, huh? Like, yeah, that's how a good friend shows up. And again, I've I'm thankful to have great friendships, but I hadn't experienced that level of thoughtfulness and care and intention in just a platonic friendship before. I hadn't. To ask me, like I've noticed something going on, that part. Let me ask to see how best I can support. And then the immediate implementation, I was like, wow. And it was such a great weekend. We didn't even do much. We got lemon pepper wings. That was when Beyonce's, what was it? Netflix Homecoming. Was it Homecoming or
We
it
did watch.
was?
Yes,
It was
yes.
her Netflix special came out. Coachella. Big Baychella. We didn't even do much, but like I just remember that being such a great weekend, and I'm so grateful for how you care for me, friend.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think you and I, the reason our relationship is just so easy is because we do share the same love languages.
Yes,
So
yes,
quality time and words of affirmation. And so it's so easy to
yeah,
like give that because I know what that feels like. I know what that means. I know what that need is. And so so us sitting up eating some lemon pepper wings and watching Beyonce is just so us. And
yes.
we be on the same page like, so I know we had this plan right, but also Netflix and chill? Like, yes, yes. Good. Like we don't have to entertain each other. We don't have to like put on or nothing like that. Just chill because quality time is everything. Um, so yeah, so easy. Just an easy flow.
Yeah. Speaking of the putting on, like we don't have to put on, but because again, there are levels and layers in relationships, I was still shedding my layers. So there were still a few guards there. And I remember one of my pivotal moments was later that year where I I had the great idea of like trying to do family therapy. So that holiday season, I went and asked my mom to go to therapy with me to like deal with some stuff that I thought we were trying to work through. And it ended up being like a really, really devastating moment. And I came back to Atlanta like just crushed. But it's the holidays. Mia loves the holidays. I'm trying to keep the vibe cool, you know what I'm saying? Like we're happy. I'm not happy at all. And I just don't want to be that like negative Nancy or like bring the mood down. So I'm trying my best. And Mia knew what was going on like before I went home to do this. So she was anticipating us to talk about like, so how'd it go? That kind of thing. I was like, it was terrible. And that was it. And she's like, okay, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just, enjoy the rest of this weekend. Because again, like we said, we do New Year's together. So I'm like, we're happy. Let's just celebrate. But nothing about my energy was celebratory. It was just funky. Okay. And the way you held space for me was a really, really big deal. And I think that's when I even verbalized to you, like, I'm like, I'm not sure how you view me, but like, you are my best friend. Literally crying, y'all. It was so dramatic. But even that, like it was just a lot going on in that whole weekend. I remember, and it was another friend we had with us, and there was a moment you said, like, let's just share with each other, like let's just affirm each other real quick. And I was like, what's happening? But then when I got my turn, I was just like,
Gosh, that night was really, really special. Really.
yeah, it was. But even that, like me trying, there's been a pattern, not just in my this friendship, but just in my life of like me trying to hide because I don't want to bring my burden. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden. And what I have learned in this friendship is when it's a real friendship, your burdens aren't burdens to the other person. It's just not. There's no inconvenience happening. This is what we do, and the irony is I'm trying to hide from you and keep this burden from you, but me doing working so hard to do that is like messing stuff up because it's like, let me just be your friend, girl. Let me just be your friend. And you saw what's happening anyway. So yeah, that was really pivotal for me because it was another shedding of a layer. Like I really don't have to put on. Like I can bring all of my stuff, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you still rock with me. And yeah, that's really special.
Yeah, I think we learned that lesson even deeper last year in our friendship that even took us to the next level because I don't know if you still have the questions, but we saw this thing on Instagram. I saw this thing on Instagram,
Mhm.
and it was a post on like, ask these questions for, your friendship. And baby, it really took us to a whole nother layer. I think everything was exposed at that point.
Girl, what I say,
Through like,
I'm looking for the questions, but yes,
okay, we had already gone through layers of, just shedding. Both of us have gone through those layers of shedding, and then like that one, I just felt like was just like, okay, we wide open now. I mean, we just,
and
but
it's a really good exercise for like any friendship or any relationship period. If you want to go deeper in your relationship, you want to cultivate some depth. So I'm gonna just share the questions with you really quick. And the original poster, it's from Zen Life underscore with Mac. The questions are: what could I be doing better in this relationship? What is something you're learning from me? When do you feel closest to me and why? What do you see in me that you wish I could see in myself? And lastly, what are you hesitant to ask me? Heavy hitting questions.
listen, try to do that with a dry eye. Okay. Okay. And what's interesting about that is we were just in this season of like, you had just gone through a season of like isolation to the point where you were, I felt like our relationship had shifted. And I was like, and I had gone through my own personal stuff because I was like, so your isolation met my rejection issues. And I was like, okay, so maybe, friendships go through seasons and some people are in your life for seasons. So I'm doing all the justification was like, it's okay, it's okay. No, it's not the same. It's okay. So when we had that conversation and that like discussion to go through all of that, your need for not to be a burden and my need to truly be a friend and be there for you, right? And hold space. Um it was just a beautiful moment that those questions help kind of break that last bit. Well, I don't know how much more fallow ground, Carol, because we both evolving and changing all the time, but it feels like the last big rocks of like, okay, fine, fine, I
Yeah.
surrender.
No, for real. I 1000% agree because earlier that year I had like had this unexpected, it was like it caught me so off guard, like this unexpected bout with depression. And I was so devastated because this time it's like, I don't understand why I keep experiencing this. I keep doing all the things I know to do to not only deal with it when it comes, but prevent future bouts of this. Why do I keep coming against this wall? So I was not only struggling with depression, but shame because of depression. So I went to hiding again. That's what I do. I don't want to be a burden. Insert childhood trauma here. And so, because again, in my mind, I'm doing you a favor because I don't want to get on the phone every time we talk and I'm just like, woe is me, like, girl, like I'm struggling. I just don't want to be that girl. I just have this thing about like, I just want to be the fun friend. Well, I'm just not sometimes. Sometimes I be sad.
Because you're human. Lovely.
What a concept. Ah! So again, like, I'm like, in my mind, it's like, and again, this is not a conscious decision. But like it's for me, it's I respect you too much. So let me protect you. I'm protecting my friend from me. Meanwhile, she over here like we're when she told me, y'all, that she thought our friendship was changing, I was like, girl, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I was like, she ain't got time anymore. There were days in between like responses to a simple text. I was like, she don't like me.
And meanwhile, I'm over here just like, yeah, I cannot like pollute Mia. Like, you know, but that conversation broke so much. Like that was a game changer, not just for our friendship, girl, but for my life.
Yeah.
Because what resonated with me after that conversation was I didn't know before that day just how clearly you saw me.
Mm.
And again, all the guards I had, it was like, or the fences I had built, it was like, girl, this fence is, it is those wire fences you can see right through. It's like, girl, I see all of what's happening behind this fence. I didn't know that, you know, I didn't know until that moment that I've been doing all this extra work and it was just in vain because you saw me already. I didn't know that. And it caused me to come into another level of acceptance of the truth that my friends really like me
Yeah.
and that I haven't done anything. I haven't had to perform. I haven't had to give anything. They just like me.
Yeah.
That is a strange phenomenon. And again, childhood trauma. But like, but like, y'all like me? For y'all want to be around me? Y'all don't get tired of me?
See?
But it's like I really had to sit like, oh my gosh, she really, really sees me, like all of me, and accepts me and loves me. Whoa. So
Yeah.
yes, that was a real breakthrough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to call it, is a breakthrough. And it took us, I mean, we were already declared best friends at that point, but I feel like it even took us to the next level. Um, and I do think that breakthrough even has created space. Now, I feel like this has always been our story. Like when we go out, people like giving us all their life, explaining all of their life. But really, like now it's like the light is so much brighter when we walk into places. And people do get attracted to us and want to tell their story, want to, and so I feel like that's one of the reasons too why we decided to do something like this, is because we see the impact, and people ask us the questions and people want to know more. And so I was like, you know what, why not you know make it formal and make it official. But yeah, no, that breakthrough really did change, I believe, and transitioned us even to a deeper connection, and allowed us to even accept each other at another level. And I think one thing you don't realize is that the more you hide, the more you feel like hide from each other. You always have the excuse, well, they like me because they don't know X, Y, and Z, or because they don't see X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, no, no. But I see all of that and I still am here for you. I think it just takes anyone deeper in trust and deeper in connection. So it's up to us, though, to allow people into those spaces, and allow people and cherish. So I'm very, very grateful anytime someone allows me to be a part of that, right? To be in that space. And so I think on both sides, right? Being able to open up, and then once that person opens up, being so appreciative, to be trusted with information or with their heart or with that space in their life.
Yeah. I just love you, friend.
I know, I love you too, man.
All right, well, we wanted to just take this first episode to again introduce ourselves and our story so that as we go forward, you guys know like the context of our conversations going forward. So we would love for y'all to, like tell us about y'all, like you and your bestie, tag your bestie in the comments and like tell us about yourself. Like where y'all met? Y'all high school besties? Y'all met elementary school? Y'all day ones? Y'all day twos? Like what is it? Because me and I we day twos, and like let me tell y'all something. Them day twos.
Ones that choose to be there. Yes.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
tell a friend, engage with us, to share your stories, and remember that a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. Have a good day.